Chapter 0, so let me launch that. We're joined by my co-star and guest here, Lucas, who's my dog. He's a German Shepherd Rottweiler, 3 years old, just chilling out right next to me, so he'll be joining us today. If you haven't played or seen this game, it's actually a really weird game, but in a good way. It's made by Suda51, who, if you may know him, has played, or not played, but made games like Killer7, No More Heroes, known for stuff like that. So we are going to play Chapter 0 right now. Our target is Angel, and it's January 20th, 20th winter. So let's go ahead and start. So like I said, it's a pretty weird game, but in a good way though. So during cutscenes I will not talk, or during dialogue I will not talk, so I'll kind of talk in between.
Me. So, you there yet?
You mean this shithole?
That's where they all hang out. Our information tells us that there's 14 of them.
And they're all fun.
Keep one alive so we can ask who the boss is.
Anything else I should know?
Not really. You'll know when you see them. They're, different.
Will do.
Well, may the Lord smile.
And the devil have mercy.
Okay, so now we're going to start. This is my favorite game of all time, by the way. I really love Killer7. Interestingly enough, the first time I played it was when I was 13. I'm 25 now, so it's been a while, but I wanted to play this game and stream it to, I guess, people who may not have heard about it before, because it's kind of like a cult status game that doesn't get a lot of recognition. So right now we're Garcian, who's the lead persona. We're going to switch to Dan Smith here, who's my favorite persona. Basically, the game has 7 playable personas, 8 once you beat it. So, kind of explain along the way.
You don't want to go any further. It's dangerous. My friends are all dead. They were all murdered by people that look like this. I have been chosen.
Oh, shit. There's more than 14. Those bastards are breeding.
So basically, before we start, there are 7 playable personas. Dan, Katie, Kevin, Coyote, Khan, and Mask. You can play 6 and switch between them in the game. Garcian is mostly for picking up one of the dead bodies if you die, and you can revive them. You get a photo, which basically is your target for the mission. It's Kunlan, the enemy leader of the Heaven Smile. You get rings, which are basically used for puzzles. Basically carrier pigeon memos, which are basically used to induce the story, the lore of the game. They just basically are things you read. and then blood, which is used for leveling up characters and also recovering or revitalizing yourself, healing yourself. As you can see, each person has like a power, waiver, criticals, or speed. It basically just means you can level them up with blood vials in the game. So this is Iwazaru. He is like the servant of the Killer7. So he basically just gives you dialogue about the level or the stage or what's going on. So let's go ahead and start with Harmon's room here. In Harmon's room, you can basically talk to Iwazaru, who gives you, I guess, information on the game and like how to play it and everything. You have Samantha here, who basically acts as your save, but she's also part of the story and the lore as well, which you'll see in cutscenes. And then you have the TV here, which basically, as I mentioned before, you can donate blood here to level up your character. They get turned into serum.
Don't make me say it again.
So you can only use Garcian by himself, and you cannot switch between the personas. Like I said, he's mainly meant for healing.
Wait here.
But I was saying before, these are the skills you can level up, and then based on skills, you get abilities, which basically help the game make it a little bit easier for you. So let's go ahead and move on. The game is played from a on-rails perspective. Basically that means you only move in one direction, and then it gives you directions you can pick to move in. It's also cel-shaded, which is pretty cool. You don't see games like that too often. Last time I played this game, it was in 480i on the GameCube. Now I'm running it through my TV at 4K, so it looks absolutely beautiful. The game, I'm really glad they remastered this. It's not a game you would think that would get remastered, but let's move on. Hey, also, to find enemies, basically you take your gun out and you scan. You can kind of see over here that there's an enemy, and then you can see right there that there's an enemy as well. You know they're there when they laugh, and then that's when they become killable. Like that. So we'll talk to Iwazaru. So basically the Heaven Smiles main attack is they'll come up to you, and then they'll basically bomb rush you. So they'll basically blow up, they'll suicide. You can see there, the little thing. If you shoot it just right, which I'm not good at and it's going to take a while to get used to, basically you get a one-hit kill on him. This is Travis. He is the Killer7's, I guess, first kill. So he kind of gives you, I'm not even sure, he just pretty much talks to you, kind of haunts you throughout the game. So he has a letter or a word on his shirt. I guess it explains how he feels or how the situation feels to him. I'm not really sure, but right here, this guy actually is harmless. He looks kind of weird or freaky, but he doesn't do anything to you. I think he appears whenever there's soul shells, which Iwazaru is going to tell us about, which are basically items needed to progress in a level to get to the main boss of the level. You give them to a gatekeeper and you can progress. Okay, so let's move on. So we're introduced to our first variation of Heaven Smile. There's different types of Heaven Smiles, the variations of them, and as you get through the game, basically, you get introduced to more types of them, which is pretty cool. Basically just more different variations of enemies throughout the level. So with this variation of Heaven Smile, I think if you get too close to him, he runs away. Or if you shoot him and don't kill him in one hit, he runs away. But if you hit him, he gives you a lot of blood. So, in this case, we kind of failed. But like I said, I'm probably going to fail a lot. What basically Iwazaru was telling us is that we can use a charge shot if we have enough vials of blood that feels like a devastating attack, so. Right here we're introduced to a, I guess, breeding variation of Heaven Smile. It basically just breeds them, so let's take it out.
Collateral shot.
So that's essentially what happens whenever you actually kill them, which is going to be rare for me until I get used to the game, so don't expect anything spectacular. So we're collecting our first soul shell here, which, like I said, you need to progress through the levels of the game. If you don't get them, you can't progress to the main or final boss of the area, and can't progress through the level essentially. So now we have unlocked this area. There you go. You can see whenever you line it up right, it basically comes up with an enclosed crosshair, which signifies a one-hit kill, which definitely gives you more blood vials, essentially. Okay.
Help me!
So if you can't tell, the game's pretty bloody and gory. It's definitely rated M for a reason. So we have 4 here. But yeah, we're going to leave because I'd probably die and I don't feel like dying, so let's heal up and go back. Because there's no pausing in real time in this game. When you pause, you're still... Or well, there's no pausing. Whenever you pause, you're still in real time for the game. There you go. So I think with Dan, we can take 1 hit, and if we take 2 hits, we're basically done. So as long as I can soak 1 hit, I should basically be fine. So let's go ahead and level Dan up so we don't have as much trouble with these guys. So basically, we're going to donate the blood here and turn it into serum, which we're going to use to level him up a little bit.
Don't make me wait here.
So we're going to level everything up. As you can see, we've locked an ability, basically a down attack. How it works essentially is when they're crawling on the floor and they get close enough to you and like a white lightning strikes or something like that, you can press X and basically counter them for an insta-kill, which is helpful if they're on the ground. So whenever they turn white like that, you don't get blood, so you can still basically keep shooting them and eventually get blood if you just take off body parts and stuff like that. So we got this guy. And this guy. There we go. So the one over here doesn't actually hurt you, but I think he blinds you, so if we can just shoot him, I think he's not in our range yet, because he's not flying towards us. There we go. So 1 second, I'm gonna go refill this. Unprofessional, I know, but I'll be right back. Okay, didn't take too long, so let's go ahead and move on here. So this guy's running at us, which I gotta say, I hate the guys that run the most. It's just way too much pressure to kill them, in my opinion.
Come on. You gotta help me.
Nothing we can really do there. Okay. So this side is locked. We'll basically have to probably get it from the other side. Let's go ahead and take out this guy first before we talk to our friend here. I thought I was out of bullets, so I'm glad that happened. This says U-Hen. Basically how he acts in the game is he gives you hints for puzzles. He'll give you basically a cryptic hint at first, and if you shoot the mask, he'll give you pretty much a layman's term hint for the puzzle to make it like pretty obvious. So. So let's go ahead and shoot it. What he's basically saying is when we shoot the shoot the mask, it takes blood from us. So it basically takes stuff we've collected to level up or to heal and uses it for the basically riddle. So as you can see, this is kind of the game's way of telling you if you need an extra hint, you're dumb. That's why he's flicking you off, but we'll go ahead and listen to him. So basically, this guy is telling us about a riddle in the room we're about to enter here. And you can also know that he mentioned Mills before. Mills is basically the guy Garcia met at the beginning of the game, the cutscene, who handed him the little piece of paper. Essentially, Mills is your handler, so he basically gives you contracts or missions to take on. So we'll jump in here. So the first riddle's pretty easy, honestly. Air conditioning's off, that's good. But as you can see here, the candles are numbered, so basically we just have to light them in a certain order. But before we can light them, we actually need the Ring of Fire, which will help us progress with the puzzles. So I don't know why those things are on the arms. It makes it just so hard to kill them. So usually that little kid appears whenever there's a new variation of Heaven's Smile towards the end of the level. And basically he'll give you a hint of how to defeat it or what its abilities are. Other than that, as he appears outside of it, I'm honestly not sure like his story or what his part in the game is. He's basically talking about Kun Lan, how we're coming to kill him, so let's go this way, and we'll collect our first carrier pigeon with a memo or letter for us. Dear Amir, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, and many thanks for choosing me for the job. My name is Johnny Gagnon, otherwise known as Speedster. I get excited when I slit a guy's throat. Kind of sick. I know that may be sick, but I do the best work in town. This is a report on the job. I'm sure you'll like what I have to say. I watch them like a hawk, so I think a hefty reward is in order. There are 7 in the Smith Syndicate. Dan Smith, who uses a large caliber revolver. Katie Smith, who uses a large automatic rifle. Con Smith, who uses 2 full auto pistols. Master Smith, who uses grenades. Kevin Smith, who uses knives. Coyote Smith, who uses a modified gun. Garcian Smith, who uses a small pistol. They are an armed force that rivals a small army. You wouldn't want to be on their bad side. In conclusion, it is in the interest of the United States to keep them around. There is no telling when they might come in handy. I'll be contacting you again. Johnny Gagnon, from Bianca. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on here. We'll go in Harmon's room. We have some more blood we can donate basically to level our character up. Because I think as the levels progress, or as you get farther in the game, the Heaven Smile become, I guess, stronger, so I think it takes more shots to kill them.
Wait here.
That, or if you're lucky enough to actually hit the spot, you can basically get one-hit kills, so. But as you can see, I'm not too good with that. So we unlocked another ability, a double tap. Basically, it just means for every 1 bullet, you can shoot 2 shells, which means we have better chances to kill them. Every character has their weaknesses. Dan's is a pretty fast reload, but his gun doesn't shoot as fast. So basically, there's a drawback to each character. So we have 3 here. Okay, now we have 4. Let's go ahead and heal real quick. Because I really don't feel like becoming Garcian and coming back. I gotta say, I really don't. Okay, cool. So now we have 5. Reload. Okay. Never mind, so it looks like we can take 2 hits, but we don't want to, so we should be fine for now. Let's talk to him to get another hit. So if we have enough blood, we can shoot it. We lost a lot of blood with that last encounter, so hopefully we have enough. So he's basically just telling us about the puzzle in the restroom here. You always want to check the rooms. Well, let's go ahead and demonstrate the down attack. prompted for it, so that was a waste. And now we're out of blood, which puts us in a very particular situation. We can't take hits because we can't heal ourselves. So basically what he's saying is we have to use the ring of fire to set off the sprinkler for water to go in the toilet for us to flush it. That way the puzzle piece can go down to the laundry room. But we don't have the ring of fire, so we have to keep progressing to find it. So hopefully we can collect some blood from these guys. So that way we can heal ourselves up. And let's heal up. There we go. So we're in the library. This is locked, or I guess it's in the way. And these are the 2 puzzle pieces we need. We found 2 puzzles, so we know where the puzzle pieces are. We just basically have to get the ring of fire to progress with them. Let's go in Harmon's room and save, first of all. Because I haven't saved, so if I died, I'm pretty screwed. And then let's also use the TV to deposit some blood. One thing I haven't mentioned is you only get a set amount of blood per level. So whenever you're done, the blood machine will stop and you'll cease being able to level up your character. So you have to use it very strategically and level up who you want. I'll be using Dan mainly. But that being said, I'll switch to every character at least once, that way you can see how they play, and then I'll probably use Dan. So that's basically where the puzzle piece will come. So we're about to collect our first ring here. So we've obtained the fire ring. Okay then. So I'm not sure the purpose that character serves beyond basically just giving you rings. They pretty much just give you cryptic. Let me try and shoot this guy here. I really don't feel like him messing with me. It's gonna take me a while to get used to the game, honestly, as far as like the shooting and everything, because the controls are very stiff. So I mean, it's a game from I think like 2004. I know it's in the early 2000s on the GameCube, so the controls basically are the same way they were before. So it's not exactly easy to hit this guy. There we go. So we have one coming, we'll just wait for him to come over here. Let me see if I can demonstrate. There we go. That was the down attack, but it might have been the counter attack, because I think the counter works like that. The down one works when they're down and that happens, so let's talk to Uzara here. So basically what he's saying is we have to use Coyote Not sure what just happened. It looks like the game kind of froze or something. Yeah, so the game froze on my end. 1 second. Okay. No, it didn't freeze. My dog basically just sat on the keyboard and caused some kind of weird reaction with the game, so. But 1 second though, I'm going to try and see something on my end on Mixer. I just want to see that when I'm playing Killer7 that it shows that I'm playing Killer7 in case people who want to see the game can just look it up on the list. Because I'm new to Mixer, so I'm not really sure how it works. Okay, cool. Looks like it shows I'm playing Killer7. Awesome. Okay, so he's basically saying we have to switch to Coyote for this one, so let's go ahead and switch. Coyote essentially can pick locks, that's his ability. So it's also a good chance to show you how he plays. Let's go ahead and pick this lock with Coyote real quick. Looks kind of weird when he does that animation, but I won't say much more than that. We have one here. So you can see the main drawback of Coyote is I don't think he has that many bullets, but also when he shoots, you see it takes a while for the gun to come back, which can make rapid fire a lot harder. So now we have the fire ring, so we can go ahead and solve this puzzle here. So let's equip the fire ring. So like I said, this puzzle is pretty easy. It's basically just lighting the candles in order. So just, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The puzzles I think may get trickier as the game progresses. But if we ever get stuck, we'll kind of work it as we go. So we have the first puzzle piece to unlock in the library now. We have another guy running here. Another interesting tidbit is, depending on your character, how tall they are, you can see that it represents in the game. So like how Dan may have stood taller, Coyote, since he arches when he aims, he's shown from a lower perspective here, so we see him from a different viewpoint, which is pretty interesting. So every character has different viewpoints, which is pretty cool. So we've already been here. We're basically just coming back now that we have the fire ring. That way we can solve the puzzles we couldn't solve earlier. So let's go ahead in Harmon's room here and level up Coyote a little bit, since we're going to be using him for a little while. Whenever I can't use Dan, I use Coyote, because not every level you can start out using your favorite character, so sometimes you have to default to other characters. So it's always good to basically have a second character you like to use as a backup, or even a third, depending on if the level doesn't start off with the character you like. Because you have to get a certain amount of kills to unlock the character, that way you can use them. So it's always good to think that way. So we have 4 here, great.
You're fucked.
So, where he lacks in his fire rate, he makes up in the fact that he can reload fast. Okay, so no one in here. So we'll basically use the fire in here to go ahead and basically allow us to flush down the toilet. That way we can get our second puzzle piece to unlock the library door. So now we can just progress to where we were and pretty much move on with the level. And there's none in here, which is a good thing. So let's go ahead and progress. We're going to go over here and basically put the puzzle pieces in there. Well, I'm dumb. I totally forgot that there was a second puzzle piece, so let's go ahead and get that one. Luckily, it's just right down here, so it's not too far out of the way. Let's pick this up. And then we can basically use it to progress from the library up here. We'll hold off on Harmon's room, because I don't want to spend too much vials on Coyote. Because I'd rather spend them on Dan, to be quite honest with you. So now we can unlock this. Which now we have to deal with these guys. Like I said, the ones who run I absolutely hate the most. So let's reload. There we go. You see he kept trying to lunge at me so he can blow up. Let's go this way. We'll talk to Iwazaru. So basically he's telling us we have to switch to mask. Whenever you see a wall or an obstruction like this in the way, he's the only one who can knock it down. And basically he's weapons of choice are double grenade launchers. So he has one shot. So I won't be using him very much. He's a one-hit kill. But basically the drawback is you only get one shot, so... Not really going to be using him very often, to be quite honest. Fuck Travis. Not sure how getting killed or getting shot feels good, but I guess, man. So I get our second carrier pigeon here. Dear Amir, we have a problem. A terrible thing has happened. I can hardly believe it. But the money is not in my account. I need your help. You got my last message, didn't you? I trusted you. Now don't let me down. Promise me. Wire me the money immediately. 125 bucks is peanuts, I'm telling you. Probably is for a crime syndicate. Or in our case, the Killer7 really isn't a crime syndicate. It's more of like paid jobs by the government to take down terrorist groups, really is what it is. But they should still have money, right? The Smith Syndicate operates in strange ways. Okay, so this is an outside source. Amir, basically you'll learn more about the character throughout the game. I'm not going to spoil it. So basically it looks like Amir hired Johnny to do research on the Killer7. Garcian Smith manages the other 6 personas and mainly acts as a negotiator for work requests. Garcian never eliminates people himself. His role is to retrieve the bodies. Even if another persona is killed, it appears he's able to bring them back to life. Like a wizard, I tell you. However, it's my hunch that somebody offstage is calling the shots and controlling Garcian. There must be a hidden mastermind separate from the active team. And it's likely that this mastermind assigns the jobs. Garcian is very loyal, and he values the organization. He controls the personas to keep the organization safe. He's a middle manager, you see. The members switch using the medium of television, but I have yet to determine what governs the switches. The Smith Syndicate is composed of 1 sensible persona and 6 freaks. I have never seen the personas interact with each other, because one switches to another, but later in the game you see it kind of breaks the lore. Soon I expect to unmask the myth behind this strange group. I'll be contacting you again, Johnny Gagnon. Okay, so let's move on. So I'm gonna switch back to Dan because, like I said before, Mask isn't a very good character to use, only because he has one shot and his reloads are fast, but sometimes you need just multiple shots to take someone down. So I'm not really sure how he manages to breed the Heaven Smiles. I know they had that egg layer, the duplicator that breeded them. But other than that, I'm not really sure how Kunlan, the leader of the enemy faction, the Heaven Smile, manages to breed more Heaven Smiles. I'm not really sure of that. So let's deposit some more blood here so we can level up Dan.
Wait here.
We should have enough vials to level up, the power, basically so we kill them faster.
Get the hell away! What is this thing?
Pretty gruesome stuff. Pretty gruesome stuff. So we have a Carmelia Smile here. Which we lost him, but oh well. Like I said, you only get a certain amount of blood per level, so to be honest, it kind of doesn't even matter if some slip away because they respawn, so you can go out and in a room and keep getting more blood, so it's going to run out eventually. So we're going to talk to Uzaru. So when he says barefoot, he basically means Katie, who is the only member of the team, I believe, who did not wear shoes. Her ability is kind of weird. So whenever you see an obstacle like this that you can't cross, for the most part you use her. You press Y and then some pretty gruesome stuff happens. Kind of slits her wrist and exposes the puzzle. And this is Irizawa's wife, who usually shows up whenever you have to use Katie. So we'll go ahead and use Katie for a little bit. We received our second soul shell. So she uses a very fast gun, and it's also very powerful, but the drawback is the reload speed is pretty slow, and you can also zoom in, which is pretty good. So we have one here.
Doesn't it?
So it's pretty cool. Whenever you kill somebody, basically they have their own little thing they say. So hers is hurts, doesn't it? Which, as you can kind of see, she has blood on her shirt, which signifies that she may have gone through some kind of past trauma. But we need to switch to Coyote, or not Coyote, but Mask real quick so we can take down the barrier in the wall, and then we'll switch to Katie for a little bit. So depending on the puzzles you have to switch in between members, which is pretty cool because it gives you a chance to play everyone and figure out which one you like the best. Okay, so let's go on. Okay, now Heaven Smile. So we have a room here with the lock we have to pick, so we'll switch to Coyote because he's the only one who can pick locks. Like I said, that animation is questionable. Always gotta beware. These guys are pretty much
Fucked.
So basically, you're just telling us that the Carmelia smiles, the ones that are red and white, the ones that run away, basically if you shoot them, you get a lot of blood from them. So we'll switch back to Katie for a little bit, and unless they just make us play someone else, I'm not sure. So I have one coming.
This doesn't.
Worst thing you can do is turn a corner and run into one of them. It happens, but let me tell you, it's not fun. How I didn't get that guy, I'm not sure, but probably the crosshairs didn't come up or something. So basically we have to use her. And not only can she use blood, but she can also basically retrieve it, I guess. And so I think that gave us blood to collect, but now we see that it's no, which okay, good. No to what? I don't know. So let's go in Harmon's room and save real quick. And then let's use the TV. We have some blood here we can use. I'm surprised they haven't cut off our blood supply. We'll go ahead and change the scanner real quick. But yeah, I feel like we've gotten a lot of blood, so I'm really surprised they haven't cut us off yet. So let's go ahead and solve this puzzle real quick. I mean, it's pretty easy, it's just NO, so. The words are next to each other, or the letters are next to each other. Guess Travis is feeling sexual right now. Pretty gross, if you ask me. So he's basically telling us about the mother of the heaven smile, essentially. That guy. And another one. And another one. And another one. These guys are just everywhere. And he's running. There we go. So yeah, we're basically here to get the mother of the heaven smile along with Kun Lan. So I'm pretty sure after this we're gonna run out of blood. We're gonna run out of blood somewhere during this. Okay, no, I'm surprised we haven't run out
Wait
yet.
here.
But it feels like, okay, good. I just feel like there's gonna be one. Feels like we've used a lot of blood thus far. So he's basically telling us we're about to meet the gatekeeper, which is this creepy looking dude right here. Probably looks like he listens to metal music based on the haircut, but we'll go ahead and give him our soul shells that we've collected. So the Vinculum Gate is basically, well, this music always gets me, man. This is literally like rave music. Like, it's like some stuff you'd do that to, right? That's literally what this sounds like, man. Some rave music. But the Vinculum Gate is basically just, I believe this Coliseum here. You can see a lot of different doors, which is basically different doors for the different levels. You basically come here towards the end of a level, and it basically takes you to the main boss of that level. But we will get to every gate in this Coliseum in the game. Like I said, it takes you to each of the different main bosses. So he's basically telling us about the enemy we're about to encounter. Like I said, you usually meet him before the last boss of the level, and that's when you meet a new type of variation of Heaven's Smile, and he gives you hints about how to defeat it. So this is a speed smile. We're gonna switch to Katie because he's kind of far away and we can really use the scope. But as you can see, this guy kind of moves around, and I'm honestly not even gonna mess with this guy. I'm just gonna shoot him. Hurry up and reload. There we go. I think he you get hit by one of these guys towards the end of the level, you die. So, basically, I just wanted to kill that dude, because there's no way I was going to be able to hit that spot when he keeps moving like that. Back towards the Vinculum Gate here. More rave music. Like, it's funny. Like, it looks like she's kind of dancing. Just like... That's literally what this looks like, man. Just a rave music. That's all it is. So we're progressing to the final part of the stage, or the game. Or more like the stage. So let's go ahead and save here. And hopefully we can run out of blood, because the last thing you want to do for a level is basically not have enough blood to where you don't, you're not able to utilize all of it, sorry. So hopefully he stops us. Okay, good, so he stopped us. So that means we've used all the blood in the level, which means that we basically leveled up our characters the best way we could. Because if you ever go through a level and don't get the clothes on the blood slime, it basically means that you're not killing enough people, you're not leveling up enough people, so you're basically limiting yourself. We'll use it on him, and we have one serum vial, so we'll just use it on Katie.
Did you notice?
There we go. So now we've used all of our serum, all the blood, so we basically have no regrets. No regrets. So we're switching back to Garcian here. I think you usually switch back to Garcian towards the end of the level, because I think Garcian is used to communicate with people as far as things like that. Let's talk to Travis. So he called us a mirror, but our name is Garcian, so interesting tidbit there. And he said we were the last one left, also interesting tidbit. So this is basically two different ways to get to the same place, so we're not missing anything by not going through the other part. And now we're switching to Harmon here.
Please, be careful, sir.
I'm the mother of this sacred place. Our 4 children served their purpose. They didn't die in vain. But our other 9 children were killed by you. What do you want from us? Is it so bad that we have a purpose in life? We are only serving our gods. At heaven's command, we will kill the unwanted. We must get rid of bad trees from their roots. I hope you are not one of them.
Good night, child. It's past your bedtime.
So this is the Queen of the Heaven Smile. As you can see, I believe someone mentioned wings. So if you shoot here, you see that nothing happens. You basically have to aim for her wings.
You think you killed me? Better think again.
Pretty creepy stuff. So to defeat her, you have to shoot the things on her back, which are easiest done with Katie because she actually has a scope. So we're going to switch to her. So you basically have to let her attack you and then move, or else she'll just keep rotating. So we basically just have to be bait for a second. And then we can shoot these things off. So Katie is not the most athletic person, you can tell by the way she runs. But we should be able to take all these things out. And hopefully not have to reload, because that would be a pain. So we have one more. There we go. Pretty much the end of this boss. So I'm not sure which side we came in on, so I'll just go this way. Oh no, there's a camera there, so I think that's the side we came in on, so we'll go this way. Switching back to Harmon for this final area here. Very dramatic angle and pacing with the wheelchair and everything. And then we are here in the final part of the game, or the stage. We're gonna roll up as close as we can here. So as you can see, we have Kun Lan right here. So I mean, we can shoot her all we want.
So you got me.
Nothing's gonna happen. So we have to shoot him.
Oops. I guess my trick didn't work on you. Tricks are for kids, Kun. I'm an old man. Yes. Nothing has changed for 30 years. No matter how many times you try, the result will be the same.
Yes. Like our chess games. You always seem to win.
Do you know why?
You tell me.
Because you're a bad player.
A new generation of children will bring order to this age.
You're a good friend, but unfortunately, our interest is not mutual. We both have become burdened with so much, and we don't have time for fun anymore.
No, there's always time for fun. It's Friday night.
Let's dance.
So, same as before. We can pretty much shoot this guy anywhere, but it won't matter. We can shoot him in one certain area here.
You're awake from your dream.
Harmon, the size of the world has changed. It's changed to the size where you can control it with your hands, just like a PDA. The world will keep getting smaller.
So that's this chapter complete, Angel, which is basically the prologue chapter. So I'm basically going to end it here, basically because I want to cut it off as well as I can in certain chapters for people who want to just rewatch a certain chapter and know where to cut off. So we killed 43 of them, a lot more than I thought. The day when laughter disappears from this world draws near. So Sunset is the next chapter in the game. How the game works is there's basically multi-part chapters. So this prologue one only had actually one level, but certain chapters basically have more levels to them. So like in this case, Sunset I think might have a couple more levels to the chapter than what this other one had. So first one took place in January 20th, 2010 winter, and then this one takes place in February 10th, 2010 winter. So basically just a month out. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. Like I said, because I think it's a good stopping point. I don't want to basically play multiple parts at once for people who want to watch the recents and just look at the one part. So we're going to go to the task manager on my computer here, which you don't see any of this. And I'm going to go ahead and kill the game. And I'm basically going to go ahead and end the stream here. So it took us about an hour to beat this level, which is, not too bad. The other one should be a little bit longer. But thank you if you stopped by. Stay tuned. I will play more. But thank you and have a good day.